Good day and namaskar. My name is Axel Angeli and I'm coming from Germany and I'm what they call an evangelist for the digital future. My good friend Venu Varma has asked me to give a small address to you students about the education requirements for the digital transformation from an international perspective. I'm very happy to do so for you because I'm so much interested in getting the young people up to the level of skills that we need to shape the digital future. What is true already is wherever you go in the world, everywhere we need the specialists, the requirements, the need for people who understand how the computers of the future work and how the implementation of the software of the future has to be done. We are short of staff, we are short of people. So it is a good choice if you want to learn how the digital future should go. To start with, I'd like to give a small overview of what digital transformation actually means. If you look around, digital transformation, it means simply that now everything in our world is somehow connected with a computer to the internet. Look at yourself, take your hands in the pocket and you will probably have two. Some of you may have three smartphones there. Some may have already a wristwatch which is connected to the internet. Others may have, of course, a laptop or a desktop computer. And if you look around, you have computers everywhere. Some may have kitchens where the oven is already connected to the internet and can download the recipes that are needed to cook the next day's dinner. And your TV set is a full computerized theater already with multimedia attached there, and the games that you are playing like with a Sony PlayStation, for example, this is a full powered computer which is to the level that you might see on some satellites which are in the orbit of our Earth. So it is a very, very good idea for everybody of you to learn how the digital future should go, how the technology works. But the question is actually, what should you learn? And this is a very honest question, because if you look around in the universities and the colleges everywhere in the world, you find a big, big gap. The professors, the universities, they are mostly teaching the technology of yesterday. That is not really their fault, because that is what they have done for so many years, and all of a sudden within a 5 years period the technology in the world has changed completely. On the other side you have the industry. They know how the digital future should go, but actually they have no skills in teaching. So what we actually need to find out is actually how we can learn the digital future with the means that exist today. So first of all, let us start. What is digital transformation, or what is the fuss about this Industrial Revolution 4.0, Digital Future 4.0, whatever we get in this one? It all comes close to, we hear this colloquial word, cloud computing. What is cloud computing? Cloud computing is basically two different things. One understands cloud computing simply as a synonym for the internet, which is definitely true. And in a more narrow sense, we speak about the elastic computing cloud, which means that all the computers in the world are somehow connected. And if you need the power of several computers, you just join them together and do a collaborative effort to calculate something. So if you need 20 computers to make your monthly accounting balance, then you just look around. If there are 20 computers somewhere which are idle right now, and use the computing power of the 20. If you would need 200, you look around, you take 200 of these computers, because there are several million, yes, billion computers around in the world, all connected with the internet, and they could join the forces. Then you have heard about this famous expression, Internet of Things, IoT. Everybody wants to learn IoT. Well, to disappoint you is to say there is nothing to learn about IoT. IoT is an expression which means simply that all the computers of this world are connected, and we speak about the Internet of Things because now the computers are so small and so tiny, and they are built in the things, and they are connected to the internet, so that's the Internet of Things. So if you speak about learning IoT, we have to understand what we mean. IoT could mean to learn the electronics to build the things. IoT could mean to be a programmer, to program how these things can communicate with the internet. But Internet of Things means also to write software which makes sense out of this phenomenal amount of data which is sent over. And that brings us to the next topic, big data. Internet of Things is simply a source of big data, of unbelievable amount of data. We call this ultra large systems, and we need to have an understanding how we can handle with this data. There is no computer in the world who is able to get and make sense out of the data which is coming in a minute into one single internet stream. So we have to have algorithms that understand how to do this. Once we have big data, once we made sense of the big data, we are coming to the next topic, that is what we call artificial intelligence. Under artificial intelligence, we can mean smart computers, computers who understand what I say, so like the Amazon Alexa, which understands what you say and does some action about it. But artificial intelligence means also these autonomous systems like the self-driving cars, like decision-making computers who observe the internet or other machinery and make decisions to avoid damage. Artificial intelligence means also virus scanners who simply help to avoid making damage to the computer. So there is a lot of things there. So what are these things are all good for? This is only we talk about computer, but we actually will see that the world is changing. We speak already about autonomous driving. We speak about smart cities where a computer is connected everywhere, and a lot of decisions which are made by humans today will be made by computers. So maybe your trash can tell your municipal that it is full, so that the people who collect the trash cans just don't come every Thursday. No, they come when in the area the trash cans are reasonably full. So that could be a smart city, but smart city could also be how to conduct the electricity. A smart city could be connected to the e-government so that you don't have to go to the town hall. Everything can be done electronically via the internet. We speak about the healthcare 4.0, so that all the hospitals in the world are connected together, and if you find a disease or find a symptom which doesn't make sense, they can ask others, doctors in some other hospital anywhere in the world, to get an advice. But it can also have software that monitors the work of the doctors and gives an alert if you think the quality is falling below a certain degree. So there are so many things that comes now with these digital transformations. So what is actually what we need to learn? Well, what you need to learn is first of all to learn what everybody does. To learn to be compatible with the world. You can take any book and learn about IoT, about digital transformation, about big data. That is a good learning experience. You go to YouTube and you take any YouTube and you learn. But only the wisdom that can be shared with others, not only with your other students, but also with others in your country, with others in the world. That is the knowledge which is important. So when you go to a university, you will not learn the details about the technology. This is something you can read in a book, in a manual. This is what I would expect you to do by your self-studies. But what you learn in a good university is how to work. And this means how to read a book, how to make sense out of the knowledge, how to make a research, how to write a good protocol, how to communicate with the others, understanding the terminology, being able to make sense out of what you have read, being able to discriminate information that makes sense and information that is probably nonsense. So if you hear about blockchain, you should be able to understand that blockchain is an algorithm. At the same time, you should be able, as a good computer scientist, that blockchain is a wonderful technology and cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin are a different piece of cake. Not like the journalists do, who always mix up Bitcoins and blockchains. You should be able to understand what a blockchain is good for and what a Bitcoin is good for. This is just to give you an example. Practically, it means something like this. You, as a student group, as a student class, you have to come together. You have to learn what everybody in the world in the computer science business learns. You learn the expressions, you learn the practical skills, you learn the technology which is behind. And if you have learned this, then you split up, you break into small groups, and every small group does its own research using the technology that exists, like Google's and the free open source software that exists. And then you make a research maybe in building your own IoT devices or building an own algorithm for big data like this. So if you would come and work with me, I would probably say, okay, you're an IoT interested class. So let's see, you're 20 students, so make 4 groups of 5 students, and every group will get the task. You develop now a small device with the app that comes along, and you develop it from A to the point where you can get a patent for it. Another group who is not so much interested in electronics, they might have to write software based on an enterprise service bus. So the enterprise service bus is going to collect the data, puts it into a data lake, and you have to develop an algorithm that is able to make sense out of this phenomenal amount of data that is coming in. And in the end, you have an algorithm that makes a diagnostic that says this data has this and this meaning, or probably this and this meaning. When the diagnostic is done, you can probably make a prediction, say, okay, if this diagnostic is, and if this happens, then that will be the prediction for the future. And if you have made this prediction, then you might have a prescription, which means, please, if this is going to happen, then you do this to avoid it happening. Like in a weather forecast, you get data from your weather stations from everywhere in the world, and when the data becomes into a certain state, then the prediction is there is going to be a tsunami, and the prescription that will be, please prepare for the tsunami, take the people off the shores, get them into a safe harbor, and wait until the water is retiring. And in the end, I could talk now for so long time. We must see in person if you would really come to a success. But there is one thing I would give you as a big advice. If you're in a university and a college, the college is there for you to teach you the skills. If you're looking for a job, then you go to a job center. I know in India you expect from a university to place you to a company. But if you do this, you will fail in learning, because then you came to a job center. Go to the college to learn, and if you think you have learned good things, then you go with your skills to your companies and present yourself and say, here, I'm good, I'm better than the others, please give me the job. Don't expect your university to do this job for you. So I will stop this now. This was nearly 15 minutes of a talk that is going a long time for you to listen. So I wish you all the best for the moment, and I hope to see you maybe one day in person. Namaskara und auf Wiedersehen.